What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the LAS Lock-In Show. This is episode number 5. We are getting hyped up for Grand Tournament. The groups have been drawn, the finals have played out, and we are going to be talking about all kinds of stuff today. Welcome back. So today we have a very special guest, Udai, from Espionage. He is their mid laner. How are you doing today?
I'm doing all right. Thanks for the invite.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for joining us. We're excited to get into this. As we said, going to be talking about Grand Tourney. Groups have been filled in. We're going to be talking a lot about that. We're going to be talking about the finals. But first, we want to get to know you a little bit. So, how did you get into League? If you want to give us your, little story on how everything came to be.
Let's see. If we go back to high school, I think around freshman year, my first MOBA that I got into was Dota 2. So I played that for like 4 years, and then in college I got into League. Started out as ADC main, playing Draven one trick, then transitioned to like jungle and mid lane, and here we are.
So you played a lot of roles?
Yeah, I've dabbled in support and top lane, but mostly mid and jungle are my two comforts.
Okay, cool. And so I actually heard you grew up in Japan. So you want to tell me how that was like? Because I'm actually super interested about that.
Not grown up, but I was born there. Lived there
Right?
for 4 years, moved here when I was 4, yeah. And I go back occasionally, but for the most part I live here.
Cool. That's really
Mhm.
cool. All
Thank you.
right. So, without further ado, we are going to be getting into some finals results. I think we're going to be starting with the Masters division. So, Pac, you want to go over that a little bit?
Absolutely. This is the division where we air from. We place second within that finals. We have finishing out in the first place for the seed going into Grand Tournament. We've got the Dire Wolves finishing an 8-2 record within their group, also winning the championship title over there. Verge Gods coming in second with a 7-3 record, losing to them in a 3-game series in the finals for the championship title. We got Apple Bottom Boys as the third seed going from the Masters division with a 4-6 record, tied with Espionage also as the fourth seed with a 4-6 record.
So, how did we? Your original prediction was actually 2-1 Direwolves, right, Pac?
Yes.
So,
100%.
Yeah, so it is kind of interesting how it did pan out with that because you guys, we did win the first game, but the next 2 games did go, they were pretty close for the most part. I was watching, of course, but anything surprising happened in that series, guys?
Honestly, it was pretty close. I felt like it just came down to the draft. That's like a lot of Masters Division games. You're going to see that even in Grand Tournament going into this one. There's a lot of talent when it comes to different champion pools and diversities and team comps that you're going to be seeing on the Rift. So you definitely have to watch out for the Direwolves in this case. I do want to give them a little bit of credit. They are a very well-structured team. I feel like they're going to be winning their respective groups. But until we get into that, we are also a pretty decent threat. I feel like we're going to be going into this with confidence, as well as Espionage and Apple Bottom Boys repping the Masters division. So I'm very excited for this.
And Yuki, how did you think this panned out? Were you surprised at all of this? Did you tune into any of the matches?
Yeah, I watched I think I watched one of the Direwolves and Verge games. I think they just sent Adam sent me something about that. But good on you guys for getting a game off of them, because they seemed really strong going in.
Yeah, during the regular season,
Yeah.
we did go 1-1. Our win against them, I would say, was pretty dominant, but also the win against us, or at least the win they got on us, was also pretty dominant. So if you think about it, we kind of considered this the tiebreaker series, and they did come out on top. So props to them. Definitely going to be a threatening team going into Grand Tourney, but that's about it for the Masters Finals. It was a close series, but hey, props to Direwolves for putting a banner on the website. Now we're going to be moving on to the Warriors division. We had the GT Sabres go up against Cashed Out Gaming, and GT Sabres did walk away with the win, 2-1. I believe when we did predictions last week that we all predicted GT to win, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And I think some of us said 2-0 and some of us said 2-1. I believe I said 2-1 because Cashed Out Gaming, they beat Empire 2-0. They looked pretty strong. We were wondering who was going to give GT Sabres their first loss because they have yet to lose, and Cashed Out was actually able to be the first team to give them that first loss, although GT Sabres did bring it back around and take that title. So how did you guys think that panned out? Anyone tuned into the games?
Wasn't it Huskers Black that got the first win on them?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, Huskers Black did get that win. So they lost two losses. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So 2-1 against Huskers.
I felt like this finals definitely was predictable. I felt like I also had predicted the 2-1 for this one. Cash Out Gaming coming in with the 2-0 against Empire Gaming did look really strong, as you said as well. This is what obviously gave GT Sabres a bit of a scare when it came to the games, and obviously they took one, so props to them. But GT Sabres going into this grand tournament is going to be a little bit of a challenge for those in their respective groups.
Mm-hmm. And it did take until playoffs for them to get their first loss. They did complete a perfect split, haven't dropped a single game, and all the pictures that they posted of the results, they looked like pretty convincing wins. So, and they're also the preseason victors as well. So they did get that win. They're looking really strong in their division. They completely teared through the Warriors division, and now they teared through the playoffs as well, getting their championship for the Warriors division. So definitely going to be a team to look out for going into Grand Tourney. So congrats to GT Sabres for winning the finals in the Warriors division, and we are finally going to be going over the Legends division's result. And Pac, you want to hit him with that?
Absolutely. So within playoffs, we had a finals between RAR and Verge Warriors, that of which was the only 2-0 of the championship finals, which was a 2 wins for RAR against the Verge Warriors. A little bit surprised. My predictions was 2-1 Warriors. I did believe in them very hard, but obviously they must have just gotten out drafted. I did look at the match histories, and it seems like Verge Warriors was doing a little trolling. So hopefully within this group stage coming up for Grand, they're going to be shaking all that off.
It's funny you say that because not many people know about this, but we do a little trolling as a phrase popularized within the Warriors team. So, as much as they say it, sometimes they got to do a little bit of it. Hey, the draft, little crazy. They didn't come out with the win. What's interesting is that the Warriors 2-0'd Rajin Storm, RAR 2-0'd Eclipse, and this was just another 2-0. So clearly these teams just don't want to drop any games, and RAR actually completing a 4-0 of the playoffs and securing that championship for the Legends division. So, yeah, the drafts did look kind of crazy. I did tune into the games. RAR definitely a convincing win, so props to them. Anything else surprising happened in that series?
Honestly, the draft diff was the most surprising. I felt like they did really good with their picks. Obviously, the KDs show it. They did really well, especially within the graphs as well. These guys are going to be one of those teams you got to ask yourself if it's going to be a scary team or if it's just going to be a stomp. And I think these guys are going to be a little bit scarier than what a lot of teams are expecting.
To be fair, I do think in these kinds of games in our ELO, draft is really important.
Yes, yeah. So a big thing that we talked about on previous episodes was trying to conform to the meta and going to comfort picks. A lot of teams struggle to find the balance between what you're comfortable playing and if it's meta or not. If you could be super comfortable on playing something that, some people can say is pretty troll, but when it comes to playing this, hey, you're super confident on it, but if it doesn't fit that meta, you may be good on the champion, but based on the circumstances of the meta, that doesn't always pan out for you. And when teams do try to work with the meta, sometimes they haven't practiced what's meta. Sometimes they kind of cram for checking out the patch notes maybe and just seeing what's good, trying stuff out. But playoffs isn't really when you want to try out meta picks that you haven't played yet. But
it's true.
Draft has definitely been pretty tricky throughout all divisions, I'd say. But props to Roar. They definitely earned that one.
Mm-hmm.
And with all that being said, finals are in the books. We are now looking forward to Grand Tourney. So what we're going to do is we're going to give you a little rundown on the format. There are 4 groups, Group A, B, C, and D. The schedule is as follows. If you go to the website and you go under Divisions and Events, give a click to the Grand Tournament tab, and here you'll see on the top the format. So basically, the tournament consists of 12 teams. both being the top 4 teams from the Masters Warriors division and the Legends division. One team will oh wait, no, I'm sorry. There will be 2 teams coming out of each group. One team
Yeah.
will in each group will not make it out. So that should be interesting. As we said, all the groups are being or have been drawn last Sunday. If you haven't tuned in to that show, you missed out because that was really hype. They had highlight videos whenever each team was introduced. Really, really cool. But the schedule is going to start with round 1 on November the 7th. It's going to be 3 games for each team on that day. Round 2 will be continuing the following week, November 14th, for every single group. It'll be a total of 6 games with a double round robin. And after November 14th, we get to the knockout stage. But what we want to do real quick is talk about how these groups panned out. So, which team or which group, I mean, do we want to dive in first? What any surprising things happening in here?
Do we want to talk about the group of death first?
Yeah, so for those who don't know, a popularized term when it comes to groups being drawn in Worlds for competitive League of Legends, people like to label a group as the group of death, and some people say group of life for another way, but to describe that a little bit, is group of death applies that it's going to be super competitive. All the teams in the group are all really looking for a win. It's just kind of it's a way of saying that it's going to be a super competitive group. Some teams could super bust around in them, and some can just completely farm the wins and move out as the first seed. And the group of life is basically means that any group can get out. They're all pretty evenly matched, hence calling it the group of life. But let's see. So a lot of people are labeling Group B as the group of death. But do you guys have any opinions on that? Do you think it's a different group?
I got nothing. Yeah, it's definitely group of death.
Potentially, I have a hot take for group of death. I would say Group C
Really?
is a group of death.
See,
Okay.
yeah.
I believe Direwolves has a really good advantage considering they are the champions of the Masters division, and an Empire Gaming being one of the, I believe, 4th place team from this division. Going up against the Direwolves is going to be pretty challenging for both teams, I'd imagine, considering they're just going into this. But M&G Chaos being one of those weaker links, they're just going to have to show up and see if they can compare to what Direwolves and Empire Gaming are going to be bringing to the Rift.
Yeah, I
So
can see that.
my hot take actually is I want to agree with Group B being the group of death because it is GT Sabres in it. If you ask me, they're probably one of the most dominating teams that I've seen across all 3 divisions. But my original take was actually I think Group A is a bit of a group of death, to be honest. I don't think anyone has said Group A as a group of death contender. But if you ask me, I think all 3 teams are going to just be really trying to go at each other and pick up these wins. Like I wouldn't be surprised if they all finished like 3-3 or 2-2. No, 3-3. But I mean, it's got RAR, the Legends champions, Cashed Out Gaming, the runner-up in the Warriors division, and then Espionage, who we faced. Definitely a tough team, as Yuki is on that team. So yeah, that's kind of what I thought. I think Group A is a bit of a group of death.
I don't know, maybe I'm a bit biased, but I think we're just gonna clean sweep that group. I don't know about you guys.
Okay. Really?
I mean, I believe in you guys being one of the Masters division reps. I mean, I'm all for it. I would love to see you guys out of that.
Very good.
Thank you.
So I actually believe there is, if I'm not mistaken, there's going to be 4 games being played because each team plays each other twice. So that makes the games actually even more important. If you drop up to if your first day is 0-2, that's going to be a lot of ground to cover. So there isn't 6 games. It's actually 4 games being played. Yeah. So we also want to talk about what group we want to label as the group of life. A lot of people are saying Group D is the group of life. What do you guys think about that?
I don't know about that. Because going up against Huskers Black, I feel like they're definitely diamond in the rough team. Because they came in kind of late, having to pick up a weaker team's former score before getting into this.
Yeah, they picked up a winless record. Yeah.
They did have a really a really rough first week, but after that, I feel like they picked up some slack. They did get a game off GT Sabres too.
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely feel like they're up there.
Yeah, when we played them, we did take a win off of them in the one game that we played against them, but it was a close game. They have a lot of potential. I think they could be the dark horse going into this tournament as a whole. So, when it comes to Group D, a lot of people obviously calling it Group of Life, but to be honest, oh man,
I think I know which one I would say is Group of Life.
What are you thinking then?
Group B.
Really? Group of Life. Ooh.
I have so much confidence to say that GT Sabres and I, or the Verge Warriors, or Gods rather, I should say, are going to do a little clap on the Warriors. And I think we are going to be taking games off of each other back and forth, giving us both a 3-1 record and leaving the Verge Warriors with a plane ticket home.
Yeah, I think actually after the draw show, we were jokingly saying, "Hey, don't worry, I'll buy your plane ticket." I mean, we got to be nice to our sister team. I mean, if we knock them out, we gotta cushion the blow a little bit. But so you're thinking Group B, Group of Life. What's interesting is, I feel like it could be a little split between people thinking it's Group of Death or Group of Life because it's an interesting group. We were really biting our tongue a little bit because we didn't know that Warriors were going to be slotted in. They were actually the last team to be put in Group B. It started with Sabres, Gods, and then Warriors. But we are thinking in our heads and actually saying out loud, oh my God, Warriors are actually going to be put in our group. And sure enough, they do. To give a little context, I don't think anyone in the LAS have seen us play. Obviously, we scrim a lot. But to give a little behind the scenes, they are pretty good, and they have taken games off of us before, pretty convincingly at that. So, if you ask me, I feel like both the Verge teams could get out of B and maybe give GT Sabres a run for their money and knock them out.
Yeah, like the FPX treatment.
I would love to see that. I would have to wake up from that dream.
Yeah. So, how about we get into some predictions here? Who do you think is finishing out in first or second seed, and which team in each group isn't going to make it out? Starting with Group A, of course.
See, I want to put in my vote, but I don't want to sound biased.
Okay. All right, that's fine.
But it's definitely going to be Espionage first seed.
I would say, yeah. I would agree, actually. Espionage first seed, Cashed Out Gaming second, in my opinion.
So you think Rars is going to not be moving on, huh?
Correct.
I feel like there's at least going to be a tiebreaker in Group 1 or Group A.
Yeah, I could definitely see a tiebreaker for sure. So being that the finals did finish up, RAR was actually, as we said earlier, the only team to 2-0 their finals. Both Espionage, or actually in the playoffs, I mean, Espionage did go up against the Direwolves and took a win off of them. Cashed Out Gaming did take a win off of GT Sabres. So clearly a group of scrappy teams. Obviously, the second time around we faced Espionage, they gave us a pretty hard L. That was actually a really fun match. I remember playing that very well. But let's see. Group A for predictions. Oh boy. Okay. So Yuki, you said non-biased, of course, but Espionage is going out first. But who would you say isn't making it out? Do you want to reveal that at all?
See, I don't want to go in underestimating any of these teams because I know,
yeah, of course,
they've definitely put in some time. I definitely, I would have to say Roar is probably going to be second seed because they were the champions of Legends Division.
Right.
But we would have to see. We would have to go up against. Well, I'll probably know after first week.
Oh boy. Okay, so I think I'll give my Group A predictions. I think I can confidently say that Espionage is going to make it out in first seed, and I'm not just saying that because we got an Espionage player right here. I do think that they could clinch that first seed in Group A. Now, as far as the one that isn't going to make it out. I probably think that Cashed Out is actually not going to get out. I think RAR is actually going to be the second seed, given that you also said that they did win their division pretty convincingly. But I do think it's going to be close. I do know Cash Out is going to cash out with a couple wins, but I don't think it'll be enough to get out of Group A. So if I'm going predictions-wise, Espionage coming out in first, followed by RAR, with Cash Out Gaming cashing out a little early and not making it out of Group A. Now, I'm not really sure what the records are. I think that'd be a pretty tough prediction to call. But those are my thoughts. And what team do you think isn't making it out, Pac?
RAR.
I think RAR? Okay.
RAR will not make it out.
All right. So how about we get into some Group B? Now, it's time for me and Pac to not be so biased because this is very tricky.
Okay.
What do we think about Group B, the group of death and life, the life-death group?
I feel like it's really hard to get games off of GT Sabres. They've been looking really confident going into these games.
Yeah, for the longest time, they were seen as the team that just wouldn't lose until the playoffs, where they did pick up 2 losses. But again, that's only 2 losses out of how many games they played, including preseason, probably in the 20s, something like that.
Something like that.
Oh boy, man. All right, who wants to tackle it first? Because it's a tough one. Group B.
All right. I'm going to stick with my life story. I got you.
Okay, hit us with it.
GT Sabres first seed. God's second seed. Warriors third. Like I said, window seat, peanuts, and a nice cold glass of water.
Or, I mean, to be nice, I'll give them a nice cold glass of a half can of Coke, because that's what they give you on planes. You have to share.
Yeah, true. Sharing is caring, but I'm not sharing any sort of group spot with these guys. I think it's going to be GT and Gods.
What do you think, Yuki?
Okay, here's my hot take.
Hot take, ready.
Verge Gods first seed, GT Sabres.
Wow.
But only because they get a 3-1 tiebreaker and Gods beat them.
Oh, wow. So we're going even deeper with the tiebreaker prediction.
Yeah, I think Warriors can get a game off of Gods, and then Gods will get a game off of GT Sabres. And that'll lock both of those teams in 3-1.
Wow.
And Verge Gods will get the win on the tiebreaker. That's my guess.
Wow. Okay. Let's see. So, I'm going to keep the trend going while also slightly bashing Warriors. They are also going to enjoying a very nice flight home. I do think they'll pick up a couple wins, but I'm actually going to have to go Sabres first seed and Gods second seed. I'm not willing to go tiebreakers. I think we're just going to be one game behind them because they are a good team. I think we're going to beat them at least one time. And actually, our losses might come from the Warriors because they know us well. They know our good picks, our comfort picks. They always give us a run for our money in our scrims. So for me, I'm going to have to go Sabres, Gods, Warriors from top to bottom.
Okay.
Oh boy, group of death, life, who knows? It's going to be a crazy group. Now going into group letter C with Direwolves, Chaos, and Empire. 2 MNG teams in there, as well as Empire Gaming from the Warriors division. Now, what label do we want to give Group C? Because we didn't really say life or death. Why about we come up with a new group? What kind of group is this?
Oh, I said this was my death.
This is your death. Okay.
Yeah, I can see group of death. I feel like Chaos is really going to have to step up.
Okay. So for my predictions, I'm going to have to point out the obvious, and I will say I think Direwolves are actually going to go here. I'll even say this. Undefeated. I think they're going to go 4-0 in this group and convincingly take the first seed. So here's what I'm thinking. So are you guys aware of the meme from The Simpsons where there's 2 monkeys fighting in the center and everyone's holding cash?
Yep.
Yeah.
So I think Direwolves is just going to be watching Chaos and Empire Gaming go at each other. That's how I see it. I think the Direwolves are the clear top dogs of this group. I don't think they're going to lose. Yeah. Oh yeah, true. I do think Chaos and Empire Gaming are going to be fighting a tiebreaker for the second spot out, and I am going to give a slight edge to MNG Chaos. I believe both MNG teams are going to make it out. Direwolves are going to be leading the charge. Don't think they're going to drop a game, and I think Chaos is going to follow behind in at least a tiebreaker against Empire. Don't know if Empire is going to make it out. No flame, but I do think Chaos is going to take that second spot.
I know Direwolves are definitely first seed, but I think it's going to be Empire that's going to win the tiebreaker there.
Oh, okay. So you do have a similar prediction than me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you think Direwolves is going to drop a game?
See, that one's rough because they look really consistent. Unless they have a drafting error, I don't think so. And I don't think that happens often.
Oh, no, it does. It definitely freaking does.
Against us.
But,
Hi, Panzer.
But, yeah. Oh no!
They think they had a for fun game, yeah.
Yeah, oh, 100%. But to echo off of what McLean said, Direwolves taking this group as a 4-0 with the tiebreaker between Chaos and Empire, but I will lean towards Empire getting out as second seed.
Okay.
I think they will be able to step up. Chaos might just look a little bit shaky considering their draft isn't like composed of a coach such as Direwolves. So
any
you never know.
tiebreakers, you think?
Very true.
Oh well, yeah, it would be a 2-2 record for Chaos and Empire, tiebreaker going to Empire.
Okay. All right, so we all pretty much have almost the same predictions, except I'm the only one that thinks Chaos is going to make it out. Pretty interesting. All right, let's go on to Group D. I heard at least 5 or 6 people say that this was the group of life in our watch party that we had with MNG. Also very fun. Thank you guys for coming. That was really fun. But for Group D, I heard a lot of people say this is the group of life. They're all pretty evenly matched. We have Eclipse coming from the Legends and Apple Bottom Boys coming from the Masters. Huskers Black started in the Masters, but then migrated over to the Warriors division. So they are a Warriors division team. Did give GT Sabres a pretty convincing loss in their playoffs. But a lot of people are saying this is anyone's group. So what do you guys think for this? Because I still don't know how this is going to pan out. I think they're all pretty close.
I know how it's going to pan out.
I think I have a good feeling.
All right, who would like to give out their pan out first?
Pac can go first.
This will be Apple Bottom Boys group.
Wow. Okay, do tell.
To take first place. Wow. With a 3-1 record. Followed by MNG Eclipse. And having Huskers Black. Somehow finding some sort of like trouble within their roster, whatever is going on with them. And place them in last with a 1-3 record.
Okay. So you think Apple is finishing in first? Who do you think's gonna give them their loss? Probably Eclipse. Eclipse.
Yeah.
Okay. So for a little banter and trash talk to go with this one, I'll throw it in. But it'll be Stripes going against Rav. Interestingly enough, Stripes is a part of Eclipse. Yeah. Rav is a part of Apple Bottom. And I did hear after the group draw, there was a little smack talk going around where Stripes is, quote, coming for you, Rav.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a battle of the casters, interestingly enough. Okay. Man. All right. So what do you think?
Make sure you don't get ganked too much, Stripes.
Rav's looking for you.
True.
Oh, he's going to get you. What do you think, Yuki? Who's making it out of this one?
I think Apple Bottom Boys will get first seed, and then Huskers Black will win the tiebreaker against Eclipse. That's how I see it.
Wow. Okay. So you also believe Apple is getting out of this one?
Yeah.
Oh boy. Okay. Let's see. What am I thinking? So, I don't know how hot this is. It might be room temperature, but here's what I'm thinking. I think each team is going to finish 2-2. How's that for group of life for you? And I'll go a little bit deeper. I also believe Apple Bottom is going to get the tiebreaker win and finish first. And I believe, I think Huskers is then going to beat Eclipse in their tiebreaker. I don't know the seeding. We'll have to wait and see on that. But I do believe each team is going to be taking wins and losses from each team and then proceed to just go through a 3-way tiebreaker, just like Worlds. Group D was a 4-way tiebreaker. How about that? I think that this is going to be the same situation. I think each of them are going to go 2-2. I think Apple Bottom's going to take the first seed, and I think Huskers is going to take the second seed. I think it'll be close, but I think Rav has gotten. I think Rav has Stripes' number. I don't know. I think he's gonna get him this time.
I think I'd have to agree with you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy. Well, it's gonna be a tough one. Anything anyone wanted to add for Group D?
I was gonna say, with the benefit of either mine or Mac's predictions coming true, is that at least we'll have one caster available for the semifinal.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
You know what's funny? I think Stripes said something about that the other day. He's like, "Hey, if I get knocked out early, I can cast, right?" Yeah.
You know, it's a win-win for both of them.
It's like the meme where the guy's secretly crying under the happy mask.
Yeah.
That's gonna be Stripes. It's like, I get to cast, but I got out of my group. All right.
Hey, I got them both getting out, so no broadcast quite yet. No broadcast yet.
No.
So that's going to be the groups now. We could briefly talk about the knockout stage, being that all our predictions were a little different. But quarterfinals is going to be November 21st. Semifinals is going to be December 5th. With the finals, the grand tournament finals are going to be December 12th. So definitely stay tuned for that one. This is basically, was it a month-long event at least? This is the big one. This isn't regular season. This isn't finals. This is what everybody plays for. It's going to be really exciting because we have 4 groups this time. It's going to be very interesting as opposed to Masters and Legends. But now we got 4 groups, 3 teams apiece. Oh boy. So I don't know how deep we want to go in our predictions, but if we talk about knockout stages, who do you guys think is going to be a contender for once they get out of the groups? So for example, we have, I believe, let's say Dire and GT Sabres. We have them getting out. How far do you think those guys can go? Is there a tournament favorite?
One of those teams is going all the way, and I believe it would be Direwolves.
Wow, I think they're either gonna meet in semis, and that's where the real finals are gonna happen, or they're both gonna meet in finals.
So I do know that if let's say Sabres and God's Bolt make it out, I do know they're going to be on, if I'm not mistaken, on opposite sides of the bracket because they were in the same group. Okay, so let's say hypothetically you guys had Empire making it out with Dire, right? Group C?
So
okay.
How I see it is like basing it off my head and putting it into the format. If we were to get out with our predictions being in second place, we would be up against Apple Bottom Boys.
Right. Okay.
Right.
So with Group C, it would be Direwolves against either Cashed Out or RAR.
It actually does. They actually do label who's going against who in the knockout stage.
Oh yeah.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, that's what I'm looking off of. I'm trying to like put our predictions in my head and then transition that.
First seed A will be up against second seed C. Second seed B up against first seed B.
Yeah, so it would be like Espionage versus Empire, the 2 purple teams. That's how I see it. That'd be insane.
That'd be fun.
Oh boy. I'm actually seeing our first game is against the Warriors. How about that?
Yeah, it's going to be hype. The whole thing is going to be hype.
Oh yeah, the whole thing is going to be incredibly hype. Oh my god. I can't wait. But
feel bad for whoever misses it.
Yeah, I mean, hey, if I feel bad for whoever missed the draw show. I thought that was amazing with all the edits and stuff like that with the clips. I thought that was really cool.
Everything's amazing.
But
LAS is amazing.
So talking about knockouts, so Pac thinks the Direwolves are going all the way, to finals.
Yeah, finals. I'm not too sure who's going to be there. Probably us, but
okay, well, okay. Now, what about you, Yuki? Who's the tournament favorite here, you think?
I don't know. I think it'd have to be Direwolves or GT Sabers. Just from record. I think my opinion is going to change after groups.
So I'm gonna take my bias and just kind of chuck it around because I think we're going to go far, the VRG gods. Now here's the thing: if I were to choose a scenario where we wouldn't make finals, I would love to see Direwolves and GT Sabers in the finals. That is a finals right there. Will that happen? Who knows? I think GT Sabers and Direwolves are probably the two tournament favorites if you ask me. And I'd like to throw the VRG gods us as a bit of a dark horse, but yeah,
for that
we
to
never
happen,
know.
They would have to be on opposite sides of the bracket.
Yes.
Which means they both have to get first seed in there.
Right, and that's actually what I do believe that will happen. So maybe I'm a prophet. Who knows? I don't know.
We'll see.
But
unless, we beat GT Sabers, then we'll see you guys in the finals.
Yeah. Hey, we'll see you there. Imagine Espionage Gods War. Oh boy, I'll see that in the finals any day. That'd be great.
That'll be crazy. I'd love that. C9 Mad Lions in the finals.
Yeah, we're still smoking that.
All right. So,
I'm still coming down from that.
So, just to give a quick wrap up before we end the show, we do want to say that next week is actually going to be a break for Halloween. So get your costumes or whatever you want on. Go grab some candy. Do whatever you want.
Spooky.
It's Halloween. We're not playing any games that weekend. We're taking a break. But be here for November 7th. It is a Sunday, as always, starting at 8 EST. Watch out for some games being streamed. We got some really spicy games to start off. We're starting off round 1 with RAR and Espionage going at it. We got Warriors and Gods going at it. That's kind of cool if you ask me. Sabers and Gods. Oh, in round 2, I mean. We got GT Sabers and Warriors. And then RAR going out with Cashed Out Gaming at 9 EST. But anyway, you can take a look at all the schedule there. The games and times are all on there. But we, of course, want to thank Yuki Espionage Mid-laner for joining us. It was a very fun discussion. Thank you for taking the time to be on the show.
Thank you, dude.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me, guys. It was really fun.
Absolutely. We had a great time. Did you have fun, Pac? I had fun.
Absolutely.
Well, you know where we're going to have more fun? It's when Grand Tournament starts. So be here November 7th, starting at 8 EST. We can't wait for it. We'll see you guys there. We'll catch you later. Thanks for watching LAS by Players for the Players. Grand Tournament. See you later.